104.5 The Team. We are joined by Ryan Edwards from 104.3 The Fan in Denver. Ryan, of course, he's been predicting and telling us how good this Denver team is all along. We knew the defense was good, but are they really that good, Ryan?
They are really that good, and thanks for having me on. Yeah, this is a defense that, and you know, if they're that good, and you have to couple in the fact that they felt disrespected. They were the underdog as the number one defense, and you know, I think that sort of fueled them. It kept fueling them, and everybody that I kept asking me, and it wasn't just you guys, it was other stations, you know, asking me like, are they really this good, and can they really compete at that level? And they were asked that. The team was asked that, and I think that they felt that they had to show people exactly what they were made of. This has been a grinded-out team. Even Gary Kubiak last night in the postgame saying, we call ourselves the Grinders. And so the outcome of the game, maybe a little bit more points than I thought the Broncos would end up putting up. But then again, they had the defensive touchdown. And, I mean, they've been just so focused on making that the identity. Ever since they lost 2 years ago in the Super Bowl to the Seattle Seahawks, John Elway has made that his goal to make a team a lot like that. Now, the offense wasn't as explosive, but that defense, boy, I mean, they really were put up one of the best all-time defensive performances in a Super Bowl.
Is it a great all-time defense, though? They've been compared to that Seahawks team, the Steelers of 2008, the Ravens of 2000, kind of the last 30 years. Are they the best defense in that time span, as Bradley Roby said after the game?
They should be considered in that. And, I mean, of course, I have statistics to back that up. I knew I'd be on with you guys. You know, the 75 team, the 85 Bears, you know, they tied those teams with 7 sacks last night. Cam Newton had 13 hits on him. That's the most that he had all season long. In fact, it was 6 more than the previous high, which was 7. Cam Newton was pressured on 42.9% of his dropbacks, the highest percentage of a game in his career so far. So, yeah, I think that you can say it was one of the all-time performances. And couple that with the fact of just how the offense performed. And by design, let me couple that in there with the offense. You know, it was safe. You know, everything that they wanted to do with Peyton Manning, with C.J. Anderson, they understood what was happening. The offense didn't need to do much, and that was okay. It was all about the defense, and that's how it was sold to the team, and that's how they performed on the field. The defense knew they were going to have to carry it. So if you want to talk about all-time performances, considering what the offense did for them, which was the one touchdown late that actually didn't really factor in, absolutely it was an all-time performance.
Ryan Edwards from 104.3 The Fan in Denver joining us here on 104.5 The Team. How important was C.J. Anderson's kind of breakout night? He hasn't had a night like that in quite some time.
Well, I mean, this is a guy that performs well in big games, you know, and he likes the big game. You know, conversely, Ronnie Hillman, who rushed 5 times for 0 yards, you know, I think C.J. Anderson, you know, he had a good night. He had the big 34-yarder that he broke away, but this is something that we've sort of seen him do. You know, even in losing efforts, winning efforts, doesn't seem to matter. This is a guy that shows up like that. And, you know, he looks for those opportunities to sort of have breakaway tackles and to sort of have signature moments. You know, I mean, look, his average rushing yards wasn't great. I mean, he had 23 carries for 90 yards. He could have been better. I'm sure you could ask him. He could be better. But he was there when they needed him. He got tough yards, and he didn't go down on first contact. You know, I think that he's a guy, as a restricted free agent, I'd love to see the Broncos sign back here.
So Peyton doesn't look all that great statistically, but he does just enough, especially on the first drive. What is the perception of his overall role in this Super Bowl win?
Well, he was a game manager. He was, you know, the design was to not make a lot of mistakes. He did have the 2 turnovers. One was a great play by Coney Ely on the interception, and the other one, of course, also by Ely on the fumble, the sack fumble. But I mean, his role, and he's accepted it too, was to be the game manager, was to not put the defense in bad positions. I mean, of course, you wanted more, and I had people during the course of the game tweeting at me saying, "Oh, when is Brock Osweiler coming in?" The answer was never. This was all by design. This is exactly what Gary Kubiak wanted to do. I mean, of course, you'd like to string together longer drives. They were 1 for 14 on 3rd down, which is clearly not good enough. But you know, at the same time, you know, what are you going to say when the defense has a performance like that? You're going to say, offense, you know, do what you need to do not to mess things up. And it's sort of what they did. The turnovers weren't great, but they didn't end up killing the team. And overall, the Broncos +2 on the turnover differential, which was obviously the difference in the game.
Ryan, when we look at Peyton now, the debate begins. Will he play football again? You've said right here on the show you don't believe it'll be in Denver. Do you think he will join another team?
I don't. It vacillates. I mean, you look at the guy and you look at the way he's sort of being a little coy about it. I've taken some time on this, and this has obviously been a hot topic here at Denver of what's the future of Peyton Manning. I don't believe he's going to play in Denver, and for a while, I wanted to at least give him the benefit of breaking that news rather than, say, the media or fans saying, no, wouldn't it be perfect if you just walked away right now, man? It's perfect. It's a storybook ending. Give him that chance. But I think if he goes back, he takes a second to think about the season, which he will, and he thinks about just sort of the struggles, just where he was at. I overall think he's going to go ahead and call it a career. According to Archie Manning, his dad, and according to Olivia, his mom, they more or less feel the same way. So it seems like all the signs are pointing to that. And now something crazy happen, like the LA Rams, they want to make a big splash, out there, and they offer Manning a bunch of money to come out there, and they'll surround him with good pieces. I mean, who knows? But I don't expect him to play again. And this is what every, I think, kid growing up thinks about. If you could end your career on something amazing like this is how it has to be.
And Ryan, it would free up a lot of time to drink a lot of Bud Light, or Budweiser, that is. I'm sorry.
I just saw Darren Rovell tweet something that he basically that was equivalent to about $14 million in ad time. Those two little mentions he got there in the postgame, that's just outstanding. Good for Peyton.
So, Ryan, it seems like almost the entire Broncos team is free agents. Von Miller, Brandon Marshall, Brock Osweiler, Ronnie Hillman. Who can they bring back, and how are they going to do it?
Well, it's going to be tough. There's 11 starters that they're going to have to take a long look at. Von Miller, we already know at this point that the expectation is the franchise tag. I don't see that changing anytime soon. He's going to become the highest paid defensive player in NFL history, and that he's earned it. He's absolutely earned it. He set a franchise record for the Broncos with 6.5 sacks so far in his career with them, and also a record for the Broncos in back-to-back multiple sack games. But so he's done. That's going to happen. I'd like to see the Malik Jackson be the next guy on the priority list. If you want to talk about the core of this team, the core of that defense, the identity of who they are, Malik Jackson, for me, represents that. Him and Derek Wolfe on the interior have been outstanding this season. He's got to be a guy that's high priority, but he's also going to be a high-dollar guy. And then we get to Brock Osweiler. And now Brock Osweiler, again, unrestricted free agent. He's going to be listening to all those offers. If the Broncos want to stay in the race for Brock Osweiler, they may have to overpay a little bit for him. So I'm interested to see there. I think Ronnie Hillman's gone. I think Brandon Marshall, that'll all take care of itself. I think they're good. Danny Trevathan is sort of interesting. I'm not sure if they can retain him or not. But like I said, there's a lot of big names that they're going to have to make some serious decisions on, and I think it starts with those three.
Ryan Edwards from 104.3 The Fan in Denver, kind enough to give us some time, and I'm relatively sure that we will bother you again in the near future. Maybe the draft.
Absolutely, guys.
All right, Ryan, thanks so much, and congratulations to your Broncos.
I appreciate it. It's been a great morning here in Denver so far. We had full lines, full text. It's been a lot of fun.